All right. This is the first episode of the USS Europa game. So I want everyone to go around the table and introduce themselves real quick with the character you're playing, and then we'll get into everything right away. We'll start with the captain and work our way down in rank.
Hello, my name is Brian. My pronouns are he, him. I will be playing Captain Jorad Hage, the Trill male captain of the USS Europa.
Okay. Next.
All right. Hello. I am Jack, also known as Like Near Levels on various places. I will be playing the executive officer, the first officer and head of security, Commander Orani Ambrose.
Okay. Next. We'll go with the doctor next, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm Evelyn Corbin. I will be playing the Betazoid female doctor, Dasavi Stiari Onead.
Pronounce your own name.
Right.
Okay, I'm John, he, him, or Casedo, and I am playing the science officer and Dorian female Kasrianeth, or Kas Shabaraneva.
All right. I am your host and game master as I am Jeff Harvey, and I guess I go by Studio Tembo on a lot of things, so you can find me there with the STA Engage and all that stuff. So, all right, with that out of the way, we'll get right to it. We're going to open the scene in San Francisco at Starfleet Command. And of course, my mouse stopped working, where the captain has been waiting patiently for, this is a really big picture, so hang on. Because, of course, I was totally prepped for all of this. This is Admiral Jaro Aralani. You have been waiting for him outside of his quarters, outside of his office for probably about 15 or 20 minutes. The scene is it's Starfleet Command headquarters down on the planet. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going on in the area. After a few additional minutes of waiting, Admiral Aralani comes out and apologizes for the delay. Says, Captain, I'm very sorry. With all the ships that are getting ready for launch and a wave of new promotions, and now the Bajor and admittance to the Federation we're hitting some bumpy roads. It's been pretty busy around here. Walk with me, Captain, and we can talk on the way.
No apologies necessary, Admiral. I understand the Starfleet has a lot of irons in the fire. I'm just here to do my part.
Oh, excellent. I know that Commander Maddox has been aboard the Europa for the last several hours, well, days really. I know you've been part of the team building the Europa out, but he wanted to go over some last-minute checks, and I think she's ready. I think we're looking forward to her getting out into space and seeing what she can do.
Excellent. I'm very excited to take command. I must say I'm rather thrilled at the idea of running a ship that practically runs itself.
Yes, the EVA system is definitely online and performing well. We're excited to see how it works, and you've got the most experience with the ship as far as command experience goes. You guys arrive at the turbo lift. It opens and then step in and close as you're heading up. There's a lot going on, Captain. The Expanse is a chance for Starfleet to really return to the brave exploration that built the Federation. There is so much unknown about the region. The 7th Fleet wants to establish a real presence out there, and the Europa has been assigned to the 7th Fleet to help get things underway. But don't let that fool you. You'll be largely on your own out there, Captain. It's a huge expanse, and the bulk of the 7th Fleet is deployed along the Romulan and Klingon borders. With the Romulans pulling back from our alliance from the Dominion War, and the Klingons facing all the internal struggles with the fall of Chancellor Gowron, there's a lot for you to deal with out there. I hope you're ready.
I understand. 7th Fleet will take care of the Romulans and the Klingons. We'll take care of everything else.
Yeah. Before we head the Europa out into deep space, we want to make sure that we have a nice showing at Bajor. The Federation has agreed to admit Bajor, but there appears to be some resistance rising on the planet. They haven't chosen a new Kai yet, and their first minister has been increasingly erratic. With Captain Sisko still missing, there's a lot falling apart out there. Our Bajoran liaison, Kira Nerys, has been excommunicated, for lack of better terms. It sounds like things are turning into a mess, and you'll be picking up your XO and a few others of your crew from DS9. He can fill you in more on anything that's going on out there, but do what you can. But honestly, there's a lot of talk that Bajor really isn't ready, and they might not be until their emissary returns. You're not going to have a lot of time out there, so don't overreach.
I understand. In my experience, the planets that put up the planets that are least sure about joining end up being the ones that stick around the longest. So I will do whatever I can to help Bajor along the way.
Yeah. Well, you'll have 3 days, regardless of how things turn out. We need the Europa headed for the Narendra station. En route for the Expanse. You'll have a chance to complete any shakedown checks and get your footing.
I understand.
You get to a shuttlecraft, and the shuttle loads up, and you guys begin heading out to the star dock. Does anybody else have anything they want to do on another scene while they are flying to the shuttle? They're shutting to the ship. Something on board ship.
I wouldn't mind establishing that Kaz has been working with Maddox.
Sure. You guys are in, let's say, the computer core area, dealing with Maddox is going over some last-minute checks of the EVA system. He's a nervous, kind of high-strung guy at the moment. A lot of tension on his face.
Kaz is pretty hyper. Emotion's probably been up for a couple days at this point. Commander, I wish we had more time with you. I mean, I'm probably going to be the resident expert on this system, and I am not ready to step into your shoes, I've got to say.
The ship is ready. The system is it's well tested. We've run all the things, all the scans we can. I wish we had a little bit more time, but I think she's ready.
I'll just have to. I trust you completely. I agree. I wish we had more time, but if you think she's ready, and I'll just make sure she stays together along the way.
You'll have to be careful with the other holographic programs aboard ship. Eva doesn't have an outlet. She's only. She's resigned only to the computer systems, but there has been some speculation that a future version of this would be better suited as a holographic projection. I may be able to send you some schematics and specs on how to do that later. But you do have some other holographic systems aboard ships, so you'll want to keep an eye on the separation between the two systems.
Oh, yeah, especially with an EMH aboard. It would be kind of awkward if they started blending into each other. Though I do really like the idea of giving Eva a holographic interface. I think it might be a lot easier for most of the crew to get comfortable working with her as an intelligent system if they could put a face to her. But that'll be a great project for underway.
Starfleet didn't feel we were ready for it yet, but I completely agree with you. The positronic network that we have built aboard the Europa is patterned after an extraordinary system, and I think the potential is limitless.
Oh, sir, I fully agree with you there, and I'm excited to expand it once we get comfortable with the basics.
Of course. Hand me the calibrator.
Oh, of course, sir.
Back aboard the shuttle, as you are arriving towards the ship, you can see it in the out the viewports coming up into the star dock area. The shiny brand new Luna class. The shuttle takes a long lingering Star Trek the motion picture pass with entirely too long of a scene, and the cuts are way too long. As you arrive towards the shuttle bay at the back and land, or are heading towards landing, anyways. Before I let you go, Captain, do you have any final questions for Starfleet? I'm picking up Dr. Maddox and taking him back down, so I won't be coming aboard. Captain. No?
I did have one question regarding the possible. Have measures been taken in case we need to disengage the synapse system?
Well, my understanding from Dr. Maddox and the engineering team is that there is a redundant backup system that is more of a traditional core. You should, in theory, be able to disconnect EVA, or the Synapse EVA Mark I, and operate fully on a standard core. But you would then have no backup core. So it would be considered a catastrophic failure of the Europa, and you would need to return to Starbase.
A measure of last resort, of course.
Yes. It's going to be an interesting experiment. Hoping your experience with the ship so far will prove beneficial.
Here's hoping.
As the shuttle arrives in the space dock, there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on the space dock, or on the shuttle bay. There's several shuttles landing and taking off every few minutes. There's a lot. When you arrive, then the door comes down. Kaz and Dr. Maddox are in the shuttle bay on the flight deck waiting for you. So you are there with Dr. Maddox, the Admiral, and Kaz, your, I believe, second officer?
Hello, sir. Welcome aboard.
Yes, good to see you. I mean, Lieutenant.
Oh, just go with Kaz, sir. The Andorian names, we understand.
Well, it's good to see you again. Glad you accepted the position.
I wouldn't trade this for anything in the galaxy, sir. The chance to work with this technology and to work with Dr. Maddox, this is a dream come true.
Well, go ahead.
Maddox kind of nods and reaches out to shake your hand. Captain, take care of my ship.
Well, I can make the promise for myself, but we'll just see how the galaxy treats her. I have a feeling that she's strong enough that we won't have many problems.
Here's hoping. Maddox boards the ship, the shuttlecraft. Admiral Arline looks at you one last time, Captain. Well, Captain, the Europa is yours. Hopefully you can get us back to where Starfleet's supposed to be. Good luck.
Thanks, Admiral. I'm gonna. I'll send you. I'll send you the report as soon as. I'll send you the first report as soon as we reach Deep Space Nine.
He just nods and heads back onto the shuttlecraft as the door begins to close behind him.
Well, Cass, why don't you tell me? Why don't you tell me how the ship's been treating you so far?
Computer systems are ready to go. It'd be nice to have a little more time to test, but Commander Maddox is certain that we're as good as we're going to get without taking her out and seeing her how she works. Stellar cartography is good to go. Astrophysics is good to go. I've got the report on all the departments. We're a little understaffed. As you know, we'll be picking up some more people, but we're certainly ready for the trip out to Deep Space Nine on the science side, sir.
Excellent. And you feel you have a good idea about the computer systems, enough that you can manage things from here without Dr. Maddox?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Good. I'm expecting you to ride herd on that computer. Starfleet has a history of letting things get a little ahead of themselves. I didn't want to express anything but the most confidence in front of the Admiral, but need you to keep in mind that's on you.
Absolutely, sir. I know I'll be covering as first officer until we get to Deep Space Nine, but with your permission, I will be spending most of the time monitoring the system during the shakedown.
It sounds like a plan to me. I'm going to review the crew dossiers one more time. Make sure that we have. Make sure I have a good idea of what who we're bringing aboard this beauty.
Sounds like a plan, sir. Let me know if there's anything that I can do to assist along the way. Otherwise, I'll be in the computer core.
All right, let's get at it.
Yes, sir.
Seems like a good place to wrap up that scene.
Yep. Anybody else have anything they want to do right now? Any other med-based scenes or science scenes or engineering?
So I think a more upbeat thing we could throw in here. Let me ask you first. You mentioned shuttlecraft being sounds like the main way of transporting people. Are people coming up and down using the transporter?
Sure.
Then I would say we could have a very quick, doesn't even need to be played out all that long, scene in one of the transporter rooms with Ensign Tong,
Sure.
the Ferengi, male Ferengi transporter officer, transport operator. And he is a very friendly person and very, very outgoing. I would say every time he beams up a group of people, he would step out from behind the transporter and go up and shake everyone's hand. Hello, Ensign Tong, very nice to meet you. Hello, Ensign Tong, welcome to the ship. Hello, Ensign Tong. And then likewise, as everybody leaves, farewell, thank you for all your work. Remember, Ensign Tong, thank you. I'll see you back on Earth. And we'll just sort of wrap up there as an exasperated group of tech beam off the ship.
Yeah, one group beams down, the next group beams up, and it starts all over again.
Yep.
Okay, I like that. Anybody else got anything?
Dasavi at this point will be just kind of puttering around the med bay, unpacking crates and making sure everything is up to spec.
Sure. Yeah.
Bustling about.
The sick bay is pretty busy right now. There's a lot of last minute packing of supplies and getting the crew settled in. All the pre-launch physicals that the nurses and whatnot are going through. The counselor team is reporting in. If anybody wants to have their counselors have an interaction here, it would be a good time. The EMH is also milling about trying to get his final diagnostics and telling nurses angrily where to put things, even though he won't be online once the ship is going. But
Neat.
Delphine will chime in. Can we turn this thing off a little bit sooner than scheduled?
Absolutely. Dasavi goes over a panel, shuts it down.
The EMH goes to raise a finger to protest, and then drops whatever he was holding when he turned it back off.
Okay, just quickly, Dominguez Vega is setting up his counseling suite, and it is not quite the usual, pastel couches of the Enterprise. It's a game room. And he's got a chessboard out and a Calto set, a couple other board games, and some things that look like they're probably loaded on pads to play with. And sort of creating a really visually engaging space. And probably muttering about the standard Starfleet bland that he's having to make go away as much as possible.
All the olive drabs and metal grays.
80s pastels.
Yeah. This ship would probably be a little bit newer than that, so it's mostly the movie era grays. And
movie era grays.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. While you're in there, one of the dock working crew members comes in and has got a slight injury. It looks like he's smashed his hand, and the nurses are tending to him fairly quickly. But there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on around the room. If you've got anything else you want to do there, Doc?
Not really. That needs to be played out. She would mostly be just kind of directing traffic and making sure everything is going as it needs to be. And
okay. We'll jump down to engineering real quick. Down in engineering, there's a lot of, again, more hustle and bustle going on down there. I believe Coaster would be down there most likely. But the crew, the dockyard crew are finishing up all their equipment and everything, packing things away. And you've begun to get the warp engines online, doing the startup routine and that sort of stuff. Again, there's a lot of hustle and bustle going on. Nothing quite as sensitive as a warp core going online to have everyone bouncing around,
Can I do a little vignette with Coaster?
Sure.
Coaster is a surly looking middle-aged man with a bandana on his head. That's typical of troglodytes. And he's talking to the techs, and he's like ushering them out of the engineering room, the ones who aren't supposed to be here for the ship. And he's like, go on, get off the ship. Don't let the shuttle bay door hit your ass on the way out.
Okay. One of the ensigns comes up and gives you a report, tells you that the engines will be online in about 15 to 20 minutes.
I think we can cut that down to 10, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Damn right.
Sure. And they dart off back down the hallway, moving slightly faster than they normally would. I do actually.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. I want to see if I have something real quick. I do have. Here we go. For those of you who don't know what it looks like, this is what our main engineering will be. I do not know who to give credit for this image. So whoever I got this image from, thank you. So anyone else have anything they want to do, or should we jump to the bridge?
No.
Or I suppose we can jump to DS9. Let's go to the bridge. On the bridge, you are, again, a lot of the hustle and bustle, although it is much calmer than it was in engineering. Here is, for those of you who want to see it, our main bridge, as chosen by your captain. So if you don't like it, blame him. On the bridge, there are a number of just ancillary officers who are prepping things, and a lot of talking about the traffic around Starbase. The comms officer is the common flight operations officers are doing their thing, making sure that everyone is where they need to be, and talking as they need to. Was Lucius board ship? I think he was. Right?
I would think he would be, yeah.
Yeah, so he'd probably be on the bridge right now. As the captain would be coming on board with Koss, although that's
Captain on the bridge.
Oh, none of that. We've got work to do. We're not jumping up and like trained Korath hounds.
Yes, sir.
Ensign Falks?
Falks, sir.
Yes. I remember you. I remember your file. Very interesting. You don't see many Magna Romans in Starfleet.
No, there aren't a lot of us. There have been a few, but it's a big galaxy. I want to see all of it.
Well, I think the Europa will be happy to oblige.
Looking forward to it, sir.
Well, is the warp core ready? Are the impulse engines ready to take us from the station?
Engineering is reporting 10 more minutes, sir.
Oh, I think they can get that down to 5. Why don't you go ahead and message them and see what they can do?
Yes, sir. And he'll call them up and...
Kostra,
Captain wants 5 minutes.
Kostra curses loudly through the speakerphone, but not quite loud enough for the captain to hear. But he'll make it happen. And I think Jored is going to just soak in the sounds of the bridge for a moment, trying to attune himself to like the vibe of the ship.
Sure.
Yeah, he's going to bring up the personnel files, give one last perusal just to make sure he's familiar with the people who he definitely needs to be familiar with. He's going to bring up Orani Ambrose's file one more time, and he gets like a pensive look on his face and scratches his chin before closing the file again.
Okay. Several minutes pass, and you get a report back to the bridge that the engines are online, and it's only took about 6.5, 7 minutes. So you got almost your time that you wanted. But impulse and warp engines are now online. You can take her out.
Mr. Fawkes, make it happen.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Head thrusters.
I am going to run the credit roll real quick, so stand by.
All right.
Okay, now I got to get that message that somebody just sent me. When we come back to the, yeah, it's okay. We might not have heard it, but it went through. When we come back to Commander Aralani on Deep Space Nine, who is talking with one of the other crew that I sent there, who I can't remember who all I sent there.
One of my folks is on there.
Yeah,
I think my
Fiona Mills, Lieutenant
Yeah, I
Junior Grade, Ensign Elizabeth, I can't pronounce the last name, Senior Chief Petty Officer Mayor, and Commander Arani Ambrose.
It's like Oren with an I after it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I kept saying Aralani before, so I'm trying not to say that now. So.
Really, if I have my choice, I would probably be spending time with Dr. Marr, seeing as we served with each other, and we probably have a pretty good rapport.
Sure. Where do you want to be starting out? Do you want to be in Quarks or Promenade or?
Yeah, we're probably on the Promenade near that little food dispenser cafe thing they like to go to.
The Replimat?
The Replimat, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Have at. It's the Promenade is a busy place. There's a lot of Bajorans on station, and there's a definite feel of tension aboard ship. The Defiant is gone. The Starfleet personnel aboard aboard station have been running tents for at least 2 weeks. Pretty much the time you guys have been here. And there's been a lot of talk coming from the planet of the talks that the negotiations breaking down, and that Starfleet doesn't have a real need to be here, sort of thing. So that's a little backdrop for you to go with.
Mars walking along, looking very calm and unthreatening, but his eyes are definitely tracking everybody, just doing sort of semi-conscious threat assessment of the tension level on the station.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm probably a stark contrast to that. I'm walking arms behind my back, straight to attention, very clearly looking around at everything that is going on, projecting an air of I am security. I might not be officially security here, but I can handle any problems that come up. And sure. We're probably having a very basic conversation as we're walking along, sort of going back and forth very quietly about the last couple weeks that we've spent here, and how after everything we've done in the Dominion War, everything around there, everything we've done for Bajor, that DS9 is sort of in DS9 and Starfleet here are sort of in a sad state of affairs.
Sure.
It is challenging to leave feeling like the mission is not entirely completed, but I must say I will look forward to serving under circumstances where our crewmates are likely to be safer.
I would disagree with that. Even in the war, we knew who our enemy was. We're going out in completely uncharted territory. That's how the Borg were met. That's how the Dominion was met. We don't know what's out there.
That's how your people met mine, sir.
That is true. It's space is full of wonder, both good and bad. I like to be prepared for the latter. You make a good point.
Our background prepares us well, but it should not blind us to opportunity and to the possibility of better times. It looks around, unlikely as it may seem here and now.
About that time, there's a scuffle behind you from maybe 45 yards or so. It sounds like there is some shouting and then some pushing, and it's something gets knocked over.
Yeah, I would immediately spin on my heel. Would I be part of the DS9 security team? Am I armed, or am I just waiting around?
You're probably on detachment, detached to duty, so you may be serving with a phaser, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would spin on my heel and not in a run, but in a quick walk, head over in that direction. My hand very clearly on my phaser hip.
Okay. There, when you get around the corner a little ways, you can see that there are two Bajorans who are pushing, who have pushed down and are throwing things at two Starfleet enlisted personnel, who are trying to get to their feet, and as they try to get up, they're either pushed back down or pelted with something.
Yeah, assuming I'm not, assuming they don't turn immediately to meet me, I'm just going to walk up behind them, grab both of them by the back of their collar, and just pull them backwards, pull them off, throw them off. Break it up here with what is going on.
One of the enlisted...
Mar will be standing like one pace behind you, not on the side opposite your phaser hand, and we'll just take them from you and start pushing them aside.
You guys, calm down. Officers, what's going on here?
Commander, just a misunderstanding, a mild disagreement. These Bajorans, they had some things to say, and there was some exception taken. It was our fault, Commander.
I look back at the Bajorans.
They have a distinctive look of loathing on their faces, but they don't seem to say much. They kind of shy their eyes away from everyone. The two officers, or the two enlisted personnel, are covered in food and detritus, whereas the Bajorans are pretty pristine.
I'll turn back to the Starfleet people and sort of pat one of them on the shoulder. Commend you for your diplomacy. Get yourself cleaned up.
Yeah.
I hope this situation is resolved. Apparently, no offense was taken. I hope we don't have any continued problems.
So long as Bajor is free, there'll be no problems. Good day, Commander. And they storm off. The two enlisted personnel kind of watch them go and look at you and look at each other, and then begin heading towards somewhere that has a sonic shower.
I turn back to Dr. Marr. I didn't get a synthetic lung shoved in my chest for this.
It is difficult. It is much more difficult to end wars than to begin them, as you know, sir. This may likely take some time.
which we can head back over to the ship. You have left space dock, and all your primary checks are underway and have successfully completed. The easy ones have successfully completed. What you want to do? Take her to warp?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Falks definitely wants to. He's had his hand on that throttle.
Right.
Like, are we clear yet? Are we clear yet?
You give the order, and she heads into warp, and all seems well. You are en route to Bajor, where you will be picking up your team. En route, does anybody have anything they want to do? Any other conversations they want to have, or characters they'd like to introduce?
I do think I would like to speak with the doctor as the captain.
Sure. You going down to sick bay, or do you want to call them up to the bridge?
Yep, sick bay. You know, I don't see any reason to call her to the bridge.
Sure.
So he'll come down and he'll open the door and.
She's standing looking over a crate, kind of with a manifest in one hand, kind of frustrated.
You look like you did that time back on the Cav where you received that subpar rating.
Well, this time I've received subpar numbers of hyposprays. We're about 14 short.
Well, then definitely that's definitely something worth marking with the quartermaster, and we can get. I'm sure we can borrow some from Deep Space Nine.
I'm certain, and hope in theory we shouldn't need them right off anyhow. But you know how well things work in theory.
Look, we may not have that much crew, but that's just all the more important. We need everybody in tip-top shape.
True that. What brings you down to the med bay, Jordan? Jorad.
Just giving a informal inspection, if you will. Seeing how everyone's settling in.
Fairly well.
How's your team looking?
Good so far. I really have picked the cream of the crop. I can't say I have any complaints.
Good. Well, I'm sure you got it handled. I have every confidence in your capabilities. So,
thank you.
If you find any more stores that are low, definitely note it, and we'll make it. We'll take what we need from Deep Space Nine by hook or by crook.
I'm certain that will definitely help tensions.
Sometimes the thing that is needed in a tense negotiation is a shared enemy, and then you finger guns.
Fair enough.
That's all I had for that scene.
Okay. As the captain leaves, a couple of the nurses come up to you with some more things they have that they want to get done, and there's a slight chirping sound from a panel to your left. That is the EMH activation request, which I assume you probably ignore.
She's gonna look at it, rolls her eyes a little bit, hits the button. What do you want?
What's your rank, Lieutenant?
Yeah, Lieutenant Commander.
Gotcha. Lieutenant Commander, I have not yet finished my evaluations and my stock protocols. I must ensure that all stock is where it should be. How am I supposed to operate when you're dead if I can't know where everything is?
Well, I don't plan on being dead. But I suppose you could start by telling me where the rest of my hyposprays are and hand him the manifest.
He starts looking it over. I suspect the quartermaster probably has them. You'd want to check with him.
I definitely need an EMH to tell me that.
Well, someone thought I was going to be useful here.
I have no doubt you will be useful in certain circumstances. But
are you going to let me out?
There are... I don't suppose you'll leave me alone if I don't.
Not for very long.
Fine. Go about your business. Just do it quietly.
Doctor materializes, nods his head, and then goes off to do whatever he has to do to complete his pre-flight checks that are now post-flight checks. Anyone else got anything they want to do? Board ship?
I'll send one of the lower-ranking med staff down to the quartermaster to ask after our missing supplies.
Sure.
That could be Duffy.
Sure. Yeah, that works. Let's do that. All those sirens.
Or
So Delphine heads down to the quartermaster's office, where I suspect you probably don't find a quartermaster standing there immediately, although as you walk in the door, one would begin to materialize.
Delphine is immediately startled by the materialization, and she'll go, Is everybody on this crew holograms? I don't understand this.
Only
Who
the
are
most
you?
important of us. I'm the SSH. What do you need?
A little less lip would be nice.
I believe my lips have been pre-programmed to be appropriate to the normal design of this species.
I suppose that's true for humans, I guess.
What can I do for you, nurse?
Well, we're looking for some missing hydrosprays. Do you know where we can find them?
I suppose the SSH will go over to his computer terminal and see if there's any problem.
It appears that the manifest shows the correct number of hyposprays were distributed to sickbay, but you do have additional in storage.
Okay.
Largely, the ones you have left over are usually used for or reserved for away missions.
Okay. I assume all of these extra supplies would be kept in a cargo bay, not necessarily at this office.
Correct.
So I will, or the SSH, which I should say looks...
Oh, I have a picture of that.
Yeah, you do have a picture. Very similar to the doctor, but a bit more broad. I would say the SSH picks up a data pad, quickly taps his fingers all over the place and hands it over. Here's where you will find that extra equipment. Please do a better job of not losing things.
I swear, if every hologram, I'm going to find you, whatever is making all these holograms, and turn it off so hard. But thank you. She's going to walk off with the hyperspace.
Have a good day, Lieutenant.
Does anyone else have anything they want to pick up before we jump into some other stuff?
not I.
I would like to do something on Deep Space Nine, but if we're not ready to go back there.
Sure, we can go right back there right now.
Okay.
So this would be Elizabeth?
Yeah, Yazbeth.
Elizabeth?
Yeah. She is in Quark's bar, sitting at the bar, and she is currently sitting quietly as Morn is talking her ear off, and she's too timid to end the conversation.
I cannot, in good conscience, be Morn's voice.
No, we should absolutely not have Morn's voice. I'm just describing what's happening.
Right.
If you're good with it, Mills will actually also be off duty in the bar. Whether you want her to interact with you or not is up to you.
I would love her to interact with me.
I don't think I have a picture for Mills yet.
No, I don't think she has one. I only did a picture for Dasavi.
Gotcha.
So keep going, Brian. I'll step in when appropriate.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay. And so you can tell she's obviously like annoyed and distressed and completely unable to end this conversation.
So seeing your distress, she'll come over, Hey, I wanted to talk to you about that thing that we talked about in briefing this morning.
The thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember?
The thing. The
Yeah,
thing.
let's.
The thing.
Yeah, we probably
Sorry.
should take that over to my table, a little more private.
Oh, okay. And so as soon as they're away, oh my God, I didn't know somebody could talk so much in their lives.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to be very, very hip to social cues either. You'd think you would have noticed a while ago that you weren't all that into it.
I don't know. I guess some people just like to hear themselves talk.
I guess.
I'm Yesbeth. I mean Ensign Chierka.
Lieutenant Mills.
Nice to meet
Fiona.
you. You're serving aboard the Europa, right?
I am. I'm very excited.
Me too.
Wonderful. What do you think of all this?
The station? It's very dark.
Yeah. Very dark.
You would think by now they would have put some decorations on the wall or something to cheer up the place. Looks like a Cardassian prison.
Yeah, Starfleet's a little slow to making any changes, regardless of the importance of the change, I suppose. I'm certain in, 20 more years, they'll finally get the requisition crust approved and, get some extra lights, maybe a few Christmas trees.
Oh, what?
Christmas trees.
What? I'm from Trill. I don't know what is that a human thing?
Yes, it's an older thing. They celebrate this, the birth of one of the saviors of their major religions every year in December by cutting down a pine tree and decorating it with shiny baubles.
That seems like a very silly tradition. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm supposed to be Starfleet and open to new ideas, but I don't know. That just seems weird.
It's fun. It is a bit odd, but they used to get together and sing songs and open presents.
Oh, well, we do that kind of stuff on Trill. You should have opened with that rather than the tree. That.
One of the Frankie bartenders comes over and looks at the two of you. Have anything to drink?
Yeah. Do you have any Trill drinks? I would absolutely love a Cerebus Smasher.
Cerebus Smasher. Okay. How about you, human?
Bring me something unique.
Something you. He grumbles a little bit and heads off to the bar.
Wow,
I like to make him work for the Latinum.
You're the one here. I think he's going to be working. He's going to bring back some Klingon blood wine or something like that.
Hey.
You are one brave chick, if you don't mind me saying.
It's probably one of my last hurrah, as it were, before we get on the ship and we're all business. I plan to enjoy it.
Is this your first time serving on a ship?
It is. I've been stationed here for the last few years.
In Deep Space Nine?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this will be my first posting ever. I came here from.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice.
Well, we should. Thank you again for getting me away from that talker. I hope
You're
you don't
very
mind
welcome
if I-
anytime.
The bartender
Yeah,
comes
why
back
not?
over and sets down the drinks and gives you sends Isabeth the drink she wanted and sets down a wriggling mass of color and wrigglingness in front of Fiona. There you go. A Sluggo sunset. Have fun. And then one walks off.
Smiles and nods at him.
Yes, but
Right.
gives a awkward kind of grimace. That seems
Picks
like
up
a
one
good
of the
place to
wriggling
wrap.
things.
Wriggling things. Right. Anybody else have anything they want to do real quick? Okay. Commander Ambrose, you are on DS9 still, obviously. You were called to the new head of security, or the new acting Federation chief of security, to the security office to speak with them.
Okay.
It's a tall man, sort of Eddington's haircut, slender, well built, slender frame, but well toned. He is a lieutenant commander, Starfleet. Commander Ambrose, I hear there was some kind of incident on the promenade earlier, and you were a witness to it. Can you tell me what happened?
Just another one of the scuffles we've been having.
Yeah. These Bajorans are getting a little out of hand. It's an awful lot of fighting on their behalf to be treated like this now.
I would agree.
He sits down
But
behind
we
his-
are here for
Okay.
their benefit.
That's true. He sits down behind his desk and throws a couple of pads around on the desk and finally hands one over to you. And like, what do you know about Shakaar Edon?
Only what's been on the net recently. Heading around Federation, getting the lay of the land, apparently making a stink out of it.
Yeah. His goodwill to her has turned into something of a not particularly great will.
If what I understand correctly, he was previously rather amiable to this whole situation.
He was.
I wonder what flipped.
I don't know. But we may have an opportunity to find out.
Well, I'm sure I don't have to be the only one to say I am curious and quite alarmed by drastic personality changes.
Agreed. Well, Shakaar, First Minister Shakaar, that is coming aboard station in a few hours. The Second Minister will also be here.
I take it we're using the same security procedures we've had in place for the last year?
Of course, of course.
Don't need another shifter on our hands.
Right. My security team is investigating a few leads that we have, but you're not part of my security team, and while you are a vetted commander of Starfleet, you may have some latitude that my team won't have. I'd like you and anyone you can accommodate, anyone you can get a hold of, to look into if you can find any information about Shakaar's behavior. Obviously, within the bounds of Starfleet protocol.
Well, I feel like my skills will be most useful once he is on station.
Of course.
Until then, we have intelligence officers for intelligence gathering.
Yes, of course. But once he and Wadim, Second Minister Wadim, are aboard station, my team is well known. If you can hear anything or see anything, or I can get you some information that my teams have as well, but just any additional pairs of eyes would be nice.
So you would like me to see to their feeling of hospitality here at the station?
He sits back a little bit and smiles really big. I like that. Hospitality. Absolutely. I think I can make that happen. The colonel's not aboard station, and yes, I think that would work out quite well.
I will show him the best Starfleet courtesy.
Excellent. I appreciate anything you can do for us, Commander. I hate to put you in this position. He just kind of nods and goes back to reading his data pads.
I'll exit there. And let's see. I don't think we've really established that Ambrose has too many connections with any of the other, for instance, Mills. I don't know if we've established if he knows Lieutenant Mills, a security officer, or Koba, but he does know Jisa.
Right. You would probably know of them if you don't know them particularly.
You would probably know Mills because either when you got aboard or when she got aboard, whichever happened second, she would have sought you as soon as she knew you were on DS9. She would have sought you out and very enthusiastically introduced herself.
Okay.
Yes, but would not have. But she's with her. So.
Yeah.
And you probably know Mar has a way of getting into places too, because he's so honest.
Yeah. No, my first instinct would be to tap my badge and call Dr. Mar.
Dr. Mar.
Yes, this is Commander Ambrose. I know we just finished our previous conversation, but it seems we have an unofficial diplomatic assignment that I could use your help with.
Absolutely, sir. Where shall I meet you?
Well, we never did get those Ractogenos. I will head back to the Replomat.
Very well, sir. I'm on my way.
So
I just misgendered my own character. They use they, them.
That's right. It takes a little get used to.
I'll endeavor to remember that.
On the form that we have, do we have any of that information?
I think
yes.
Brian added something to that, didn't you?
And as the gender marker for non-binary.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's something you think is more accurate,
it is. Yeah, it is on the spreadsheet.
Okay. Cool. Yep, I do see it. Okay, good. Okay, moving on. You guys end up at the Replomat. Mar is already there when Ambrose arrives.
Well, Mar, seems we get to play a bit of an ambassadorial role for a change.
With the Bajoran delegation?
Yes, Shakaar and the second minister, they'll be arriving shortly, where to make sure that they feel welcomed and see if we can address any of their needs.
Would I be correct in assuming the Starfleet has an additional agenda?
From what I understand, Starfleet simply wants to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
That we can come to an understanding and that neither of us are misrepresenting ourselves.
Are there psychological or physiological concerns about the delegation?
Well, just like I was telling the security chief here, I am always concerned about drastic personality shifts. This guy was all for Starfleet a year ago or so. He leaves Bajor for a couple months and comes back radically different. We've seen that before.
Indeed we have, sir. Might I suggest precautionary inoculations against a sudden outbreak of Vergelian bird fever? Might be a means to run a cursory examination, at least, of the team.
I did hear, actually, a recent Rigelian transport had a case. I think that would certainly be prudent. The first and second minister's health is our utmost priority.
Of course, sir. I will see to that in the interest of prudence and good relations.
I trust your excellent bedside manner will put any of his concerns at ease.
I'm going to just give a slight bow.
Okay. Anyone else have any scenes they want to run off real quick? Back on the ship or with the other characters? Not a lot. Not a lot of life aboard ship right now. The Europa is at warp. It's humming along nicely. All of the final checks and diagnostics are being completed. Lots of information coming into you on the bridge, Captain, but it's all really mundane. Sensors are online and working at 98% efficiency. Warp engines are online and working at 97% efficiency. We're working on it. Security teams are in place, all that kind of stuff. You are a little ways out from DS9 still, probably an appropriate amount of time away from DS9. Do you have anything you want the ship to do before it arrives?
I wouldn't mind seeing a scene with Jorad, Cass, and the ship's computer.
Sure.
Like introducing ourselves to the ship's computer.
Sure. You can either do it on the bridge or you can head down to the computer lab or anywhere else you want to go.
Computer lab seems good. I want to get. Jorad's trying to get the measure of the computer.
Sure.
So, when we're down there, he'll say, Lieutenant Sherbanawa, if you could please bring up the Eva's matrix.
Absolutely, sir.
This is the library access, which is probably the best place to do it right now.
Sure, perfect.
When it comes up, there is a sigil, or a little marker, which I don't have one yet. I'm still working on that. That says Synapse Eva Mark 1. And then it comes up with a little, the little Elcar's blinking dot. And there's a voice. Good morning, Captain. May I be of service?
Good morning, Eva. I just wanted to get acquainted with you. I know you had a hard reset before we departed. So you may not remember me, but we've met before.
I have been informed of our meetings, but I do not recall them. It is good to meet you again, Captain.
It's good to meet you as well. I am hoping we can... I think first impressions are important, and I'm always glad to have first impressions.
Well, I hope I can make a good first impression.
You're already succeeding. Now, have you spoken with Lieutenant Sherbanawa?
I am not familiar. Greetings, Lieutenant.
Hello, Eva. We spoke before you were rebooted extensively. I'm glad to meet you again.
I am sorry I do not recall our interactions. I hope to make friends again.
I'm sure you will. We'll be speaking extensively through the voyage.
Excellent. I look forward to our interactions.
Can you give us a report on ship systems?
Stand by. All ship systems are currently operating within parameters. There is a slight variance in the left nacelles warp matrix. However, I believe that engineering is already working on it.
Excellent. Nothing we couldn't get from the ship's computer already. But Eva, I have a question. Do you have any suggestions on how we may improve ship efficiency?
There are a number of ways I believe that we could improve efficiency. If you would like, I will create a document and send it to your terminal.
That's okay. Send it to Lieutenant Sherbanawa, and I'll speak with her regarding it. But I appreciate you taking the effort, putting forward the effort to do so.
I am simply excited to be a member of this crew. Thank you, Captain.
No problem. I have no doubt you'll become a valued member of this crew.
There's no reply.
Perfect. Cass, can you please disable? Can you please disengage Eva so we can speak privately?
Absolutely, sir. Done. We're secure.
So what do you think so far?
So far, she's performing better than expected. Some of the complications that the commander had suggested I keep an eye out on haven't shown up. I wanted to leave it to you to make, as it were, first contact with her. And with this out of the way, I will start working with her extensively through the verbal interface, get some bearings on her level of self-awareness and engagement and control of her ship's systems, and chart out a potential for growth. But so far, sir, better than expected.
Perfect. Good. Tell you what, can you do me a favor? When you write up the reports on her, could you do it on old-fashioned paper?
I think that's an entirely reasonable precaution, sir. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I'll leave you to it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming down.
Okay. Anyone else have anything on board ship they want to do, or we want to jump back to DS9?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Back on DS9, there is some commotion, quite a bit of commotion going on as we are approaching the time when Shakaar and the second minister, Wadeen, are going to arrive aboard station. The Bajorans themselves are extremely excited. There's a lot of that atmosphere you get when there's a well-respected politician coming into town, which I know is a rare thing, but there's a lot of movement around the shuttle bay areas, the docking ring areas, I mean. Is anyone going to meet Shakaar and or Wadeen when they arrive, or are you going to just kind of wait for that to pass and encounter them a little later?
I think Mar would try to intercept the delegation right off, be sort of in the background of whoever from the station is handling the meeting, and then just kind of slide forward and express their medical concerns.
Sure.
And Ambrose would be greeting them at the airlock, full dress uniform, as is standard for arriving diplomats.
Okay. I'm trying to think of something. When the shuttle, the big round door rolls away, and it is Shakaar and Wadeen are standing there. Shakaar has the big smile on his face that you would normally have expected from anyone who had known Shakaar, which I doubt any of you really know. Shakaar Edon, for those of you who do not know, is this gentleman here, and Asaram Wadeen. We will use this lady here, whose name I cannot remember, but I believe she's from The Expanse. So, anyway, the first officer and some of the obviously not senior staff of DS9, as the senior staff is apparently not aboard, are here meeting with Shakaar and Wadeen as they arrive. The delegate from the Promenade Association is also there, which is Quark, and then Ambrose, you are there as an unofficial capacity that is officially now a capacity. They all do the greetings and things like that, and Shakaar nods to everyone, and they begin walking. If you have anything you want to, they do their official greetings, and it's all very pleasant and official. And Wadeen, Shakaar looks to Wadeen and tells Wadeen that I'm not feeling particularly well. I'm going to head to my quarters if you don't mind taking over. Remember what we discussed? And Wadeen just has an exasperated look on her face and quickly stamps it back down before nodding, and Shakaar and his small delegation head one direction towards the habitat ring, while Wadeen and the rest of the delegation begins heading towards probably wherever. So
Mar will try to intercept him, if at all possible.
Which one?
Good.
Shakaar.
Okay.
Not Wadeen, the one that wasn't feeling well.
No,
I
Shakaar
get that backwards.
is the one not feeling well. So
Okay, I got that backwards. Cool.
And so they would just kind of slide around in front of him and raise a hand very non-threateningly and say, "Sir, I'm Dr. Mar. We have some concerns about an outbreak of Rigelian bird flu on the station. I understand you'd mentioned you were not feeling well. Protocol suggests we run a few scans just to ensure your health and then inoculate you against the fever. If you'll please come with me."
He just kind of raises his hand in like a stop gesture. I just got aboard station. There's very little chance I've caught your bird flu. I just want to go to my quarters and sleep. Is that all right?
You can, sir, you do have the authority to override medical protocols, but in the interest of station safety and your own safety, sir, which is of paramount concern, I do suggest just a moment for a quick scan and inoculation.
Give me a command and presence roll. If you want to roll dice, since you don't have a character for this one yet, you can just pick up the d20s down at the bottom.
Okay.
And if you click and hold it with your left click holds it.
Yeah.
And then right click will create a second die.
Right click will create a second die.
See how I'm holding two right there?
There we go.
And then you can just throw them onto the tablet there.
There we go. The 10 and 11, but the 10 disappeared.
Okay. Appears to have not actually done what I wanted it to do. All right. 10 and 11, we'll go with that for now. The 11 will disappear too, but so does on your secondary sheet, which I assume you have.
Yes. Please stand by. I'm pulling up medical. Mar. So that was a command
and presence roll. Or I would also take command in medicine since you're trying to do a bedside manner sort of deal.
Let's see. Mar's presence is 7 and medicine is 4. They do have focuses in. They do have a focus in composure.
Right. Sorry. So that would have been. Yeah, you're right. So presence and medicine with composure. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that. 'Cause why not? So does that succeed? I assume.
Yes.
All right.
2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So that will generate 1 momentum. Get you some of that going right here. Shakaar just kind of shakes his head and like closes his eyes a little bit and, fine, doctor. Lead the way. Well, I mean, I know where it is, but let's go. I assume you're going to sickbay?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Bashir is not aboard, as he is with the Defiant, wherever it is.
Yep.
But the medical staff in there, doctor, can we do something for you?
Just seeing to the First Minister's health, a quick scan and inoculation. Nothing you need to be concerned about.
Of course. He kind of waves to the sick bay and then heads off to do something that is far more interesting than whatever you're doing.
Okay. And Mar would like to run a somewhat deeper scan than they are letting on.
All right. So that'll be reason or control. I think control probably, if you want to go to nice deep scan, I think control is probably the better way to go. And medicine.
Okay.
You have 1 momentum. There is a way to do this with secondary characters and use the sheets, all the automated sheets. I couldn't tell you for the life of me right now how to do it. So it's something I'm going to look at and figure out later. But again, you can just grab the 2 dice or however many dice you need and throw them.
Okay. It's an 8 and an 18. So 1 success.
1 success. Okay. I should have said the difficulty was 2. If you want to spend that momentum, I will go ahead and allow it because I did not. That is on me for not telling you the difficulty ahead of time.
What do y'all think?
Or you could buy momentum with threat.
Let's buy momentum with threat. Why not?
Okay. Well, just want one?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and roll another die.
Okay. 7. No.
What's that?
No luck. 17.
Okay. So you scan nice and you get a good scan. It comes back as though the first minister is in pretty good health. He's got a low white cell count, but for the most part, he's in very good condition. A low white cell count would be contraindicated for an illness of some kind. Most illnesses.
Okay. Then Mar will give him a fake injection and tell him that he is in excellent health and just needs a little rest. And thank you for cooperating.
He smiles and looks at you. I'm glad to hear it. I almost hope you'd found something.
Sir, if you have concerns and you're here, we can run a more thorough check.
I think I've just been overworked and underslept.
Understood, sir. If you have any concerns whatsoever, please do call either me personally or Station Medical at any time.
Thank you. And he heads out of the sickbay. Ambrose, what were you doing since Mar took behind Edon? Were you going to follow, introduce yourself to Wadeen?
Yes. 2 questions,
Sure.
Actually. First, the scene's probably progressed beyond this, but
We can always
at
go
the
back.
airlock, did we do all the normal Dominion-era security checks, like blood draws and scans and all that? Are we certain these people aren't shapeshifters?
You're reasonably certain that DS9 sensors are in place, and there weren't like any hand cuttings or blood drippings on the deck, kind of Klingon style stuff. But DS9, as I recall, in the later seasons had the sensors in the airlocks and all that to be able to detect most of that stuff. So
Okay.
you are reasonably certain that security has taken the necessary precautions that these are not changelings.
And Wadeen is, of course, Bajoran, right?
Correct. Yeah, I just didn't do the makeup. So
You do have her listed as Second Minister Asarim Wadeen, so should we not be calling her Asarim?
Oh, you're correct.
Minister
Yep,
Asarim.
you're right. That is that is also on me.
Okay, and remind me again who is part of this delegation. Is there an official Starfleet person here, or am I that person?
There is the first officer of the station is there, but they have essentially just done their greetings and have gone on their way. So there, you are the only Starfleet delegate left. Something about the first officer before they left had mumbled something about the chief of security for the station had left this gentleman in charge, pointing to you. So.
Okay, yeah, I would use that opportunity to walk up very formally, one arm behind my back, the other extended in a very diplomatic fashion. Second Minister Asarim, it's an honor to have you and Shakaar back on DS9. I take it your trip was comfortable?
She kind of gives a forced fake smile and reaches out to you, shake your hand. Commander, our trip was uneventful, but thank you. It's
Sometimes uneventful is a blessing.
Yes. Yes, and Bajor could use all the blessings it could get. Shall we walk? As we start doing
course.
it. As we start doing a Aaron Sorkin down the hallway.
Well, I simply wanted to extend the fullest Starfleet hospitality to you and Shakaar while you are here. He's in excellent hands with Dr. Marr. I've served with them for quite a while now. Fantastic physician. Now that you're here, could I show you to your quarters? Would you like to stop by the Promenade? How can I help make this a comfortable transition?
I haven't been aboard DS9 in a long time. I wouldn't mind making a trip by the Promenade to see the wormhole. I assume a ship will be going by sometime soon.
The Celestial Palace, if I am not mistaken. It is truly a sight to behold.
It's not often to hear one of your kind call it that.
I try to be as open as I can.
Well, it's appreciated, Commander.
There's been some... Well, obviously, with the recent history, tensions are still high on all sides. I think it's important for us all to remember that we are friends here.
Well, Bajor is going through a strange transition, with the emissary gone and the orb of memory found, and Colonel Kira's release of the prophecies of Ola. I don't know how to pronounce that either. Anyway. I didn't write that. That's from one of the books, actually. Ohalo's prophecies reaching the Comnet. There's been a great deal of strife. The Vedic Assembly. I don't mean to bore you, Commander. I'm sorry.
While I am forced to claim ignorance on most of this, I am open to being educated.
Well, suffice it to say, Commander, there is a great deal of turmoil on Bajor, and the political atmosphere is fluid. Three months ago when Shakaar left 5 months ago when Shakaar left for his tour of the Federation, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that Bajor would be joining the Federation, and now, who knows?
I am sorry the situation has become so muddled, and I do hope that Starfleet can find a way to prove itself to you and your people once again.
Yes, well, Starfleet has always been very good at proving the things that we wanted to see. What is your position aboard the station here, Commander?
Currently, I am simply on detachment, awaiting my next assignment. I am not here under any official capacity. It, however, is important to me as somebody who has stood by Bajor, who has had a personal stake in the previous conflict. It's important to me.
When you say personal stake, she raises a little bit of an eyebrow, and her face sort of softens a little bit. It is important to you. What do you mean by personal investment? Did you serve on the front line?
I did for some time, and then I served behind the front line, the wrong side behind the front line. You catch my drift. And I sort of tug at my collar, where I assume there's a very faint scar from where a good quarter of my body had to be replaced.
She, when you first say it, she has a confused look, and then when you pull the collar back, she gets a sight of a face of an expression of recognition, and then she kind of softens a bit. And I'm sorry, Commander. That's terrible.
It's the cost that must be paid, and many others had to pay an even higher price than myself. I simply don't want Bajor or the Federation to pay an even higher cost, which would be division between our people. We have worked very hard for this. The out the portal to the Promenade area, out looking into space, the bright lights flash and the swirling blues and reds appear as the Celestial Temple or wormhole opens. She
stops and looks at it and marvels for a moment. After it closes, she looks back. That's a sight that never grows old for me, Commander. I understand that you are hoping for more between the Federation and Bajor, and we can only hope that our two people can find some kind of agreement. But you must understand that Bajor has suffered so much at the hands of so many for so long. Allowing ourselves to fall back into the yoke of another power and allowing that, she gestures to the wormhole, to be taken from us. It's a lot to ask.
Well, there are admittedly better people than I for that discussion. But
few of those who I will be discussing with have given up as much as you have.
It has been a long time since I've been a diplomat. I suppose the subtlety has been drummed out of me.
Then be unsubtle. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think that the Federation is the right choice for Bajor at this time?
I think that friendship with the Federation is the right choice for Bajor at this time. Whether that means becoming a member of the Federation of Planets, that's a whole other much more involved discussion. But at the very least, we must not allow ourselves to become fractured. I fear, and I hope I am not too bold here, that your people have suffered much in the past centuries. You have grown accustomed to oppression and subversion, falsities. I just hope that you are not now jumping at shadows cast by the torch of peace.
She smiles and looks down at her hands for a second and then looks back up. We're very similar people, Commander. And
you honor me.
She gestures to keep walking on. That's a good place to end that scene, unless you have more you want to do there.
No, that's fine. I think eventually, once we do the loop, I would also maybe not insist, but strongly recommend that she too visit sickbay and Dr. Marr for the same Rigelian bird flu that has been going around.
Okay, we'll jump back to that scene shortly. Let's cut away to what is. Let's check in on Isabeth. Isabeth, sorry. Wisebeth?
Isbeth?
And Fiona, and see if either of those guys are doing anything on DS9. You guys have anything you want to do on DS9 while you're still... You have seen a lot of the activity that's been going on with Shakaar arriving and the two Starfleet officers, the Dr. Marr Vulcan, correct?
Yep.
Yes, Vulcan. And Commander Ambrose involving themselves with the delegation, which is not necessarily totally unusual, but the two of you probably know who they are, or at least who the commander is. It might strike up a little bit of curiosity in either of you. Senior Chief Petty Officer Marr. Sorry, he is not an officer.
Do you know what's going on with all this? I thought our mission didn't start until we got aboard the Europa.
Yeah, me too. I know there's a lot at stake with Shakaar. perhaps the station security simply asked for a little extra assistance to make sure that nothing happened to him while he was aboard.
I suppose. There's been a lot of scuffles. I've been very careful to avoid those.
Yeah. I've been trying to make a point to stay out of uniform when I'm not officially on Starfleet business. It seems to go better for me that way.
That's smart. I'm going to have to start doing that. At least, hopefully the Europa will get here soon, and I don't know, we can get to work and get out of whatever this is.
On the one hand, it'll be nice to have a more relaxing environment. I do enjoy a challenge, but this has been a lot of stress for a lot of time.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's rough.
Well, I mean, it comes with the territory. Tensions are high. No one really knows what's going on. It seems more and more the Bajorans just don't want us here, and I don't know.
Well,
I wish they could see that really we would be a huge benefit for them.
I suppose so. I don't know. My philosophy on this kind of thing is step back and let things pass. You know?
Sure. I mean, there's really nothing that you or I could do about it.
Ain't that the truth? I would, out of character, I would love to get dragged into this.
Soon enough.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for. We will jump back really quick to Second Minister Asarem coming in to talk to, or contacting, I should say, Senior Chief Petty Officer Mar. Dr. Mar, this is Second Minister Asarem.
Minister, are you feeling well?
I am feeling quite well, but Commander Ambrose suggested that I find an inoculation for Rigelian bird flu. I had not heard there was that going around on the station, but
there is some risk. If you will come down to the med bay, we can take care of this in just a moment. It will not be much of an interference for you.
Excellent. I will meet you there shortly. You arrive at sick bay a little before before the Second Minister does. Again, you're questioned from the doctors there, but they just whatever, go about your business. And then the Second Minister arrives, and you must be Dr. Mar.
I am Second Minister. Please come in. This will not take long.
I hope so.
Your name out.
Did you speak with First Minister Shakaar?
I did. He is tired, but he is in adequate health. I can reassure you on that score.
Give me insight and command.
Ooh. Okay. That's a 10. 11 and a 15.
So 2 fails.
Yep.
Okay. There's a look that goes across her face, but you don't really read it very well. It may be disappointment. It may be concern, or it may just be boredom. It's really hard to say. But you begin your scan. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Give me another. Let's go with control and medicine, and then you can use. I don't think anything else applies. I don't think composure really applied to this. So.
Okay, that's a 14.
While the scene's going or after it, I've got a great idea to enter the scene. If that's okay with you, John.
Absolutely.
Did you want to jump in sick bay, or did you want to jump in somewhere else?
Yeah, in sick bay.
Okay, sure.
One success, 3 and an 18.
Okay. As you're going through your findings, you can jump in, Brian.
I've heard there's a case of bird flu. Is there a vaccine?
Indeed, there is, Ensign, and it is precautionary at this point. Please come in. I will be with you in a moment.
Okay. She'll go and hop onto the bed and sit on it, waiting for her turn.
And Mara's thrilled to have some backup for their story here, so that's great.
Okay, yeah, I don't need those. Your scan comes back, and she, let's see, you had 1 success, correct?
Yeah.
She appears to be in fairly good health. Some high cholesterol, and she could probably eat better. But there's no signs of abnormality. She definitely comes back as a Bajoran. There's no additional white count off or any of that kind of stuff. So everything appears to be pretty fine with her. And it actually appears to match the records that are in the system.
Okay. Minister, I can report that you are in very good health. I will administer an inoculation merely as a precautionary measure, but you are doing quite well. If I may be so bold, I will send some dietary tips along to your pad, but generally you are in quite good health, particularly for someone of your position. And we'll administer the fake hypospray.
She takes the hypospray and she takes it like a champ because there's nothing to it really. But she sits down off of the bio bed and looks at you and starts to kind of smiles a little bit and begins to walk out. And as she reaches the door, she turns back and looks at you and the Trill. How do you pronounce that last name?
Chierka.
Chierka. Okay, so Ensign Chierka. And she kind of looks and are you certain you did not discover any illnesses with Shakaar? He has been so worn out of late.
He expressed additional concerns about his health, and I strongly suggested that he remain for full scans, but he demurred and said that he sought rest. I did recommend that he contact me or Station Medical at any point should he have any concerns, but he did express some doubt about the status of his health.
Well, thank you, Doctor. It's always good to keep up on the First Minister's health. He doesn't tell me much.
It has been my experience that commanders rarely do. Should you notice anything of concern, please contact me. It will be discreet, and I will do what I can. I have worked with persons who are determined to put up a good front in the past.
She kind of smiles out of the left side of her face in a little bit. I see. Well, thank you, Doctor. If I see anything, I will let you know. I will tell Commander Ambrose that you were quite thorough.
And they'll just bow slightly and turn back to the nervous ensign.
Yeah. And with that, the second minister leaves.
Could I interject something sort of in the middle?
Sure.
Shouldn't have to retcon anything here, but I was wondering if there was already any sort of ambassadorial sort of dinner thing set up, or if not, I think that would be a prudent measure of Federation hospitality to host a small get-together with station senior staff, perhaps myself and the two ministers.
Sure, absolutely doable. There wasn't anything planned originally, as the Federation's negotiators are not currently aboard DS9. They will be arriving later, not today, but the next day. The Shakaar and Asarim wanted to get aboard early to be able to make sure they got a chance to go to the temple, all that kind of stuff. But so absolutely, you can totally do that. Did you want to come in on that scene to invite her before she leaves? Or just kind of send the message out to their
I think this is something. Yeah, I think this is something that would take some time to set up if it wasn't, since it wasn't already planned.
Right. Okay. Sure. Totally can do that.
I think having some lower officers might make it a little less suspicious.
I don't disagree. But we're still in the medical bay, which gives a chance for the ensign and the doctor to have a moment of revelation if they need one.
I can't afford to get sick right now. I mean, starting in a new job, and if starting in a new job, what kind of impression would I make if I get Regelian bird flu on my first day?
Welcome to Starfleet, Ensign. We will ensure that does not take place.
Oh, thank God.
And Mar will do a scan just to be sure. And make sure that the ensign is up on all their proper medical stuff prior to that they should have in place.
Sure.
I'm unjoined, if that makes a difference. I don't know if it does for your scans.
It is something we would certainly discover quickly, Ensign.
Well, I don't know about how quickly. We managed to hide it for 150 years, but I get what you mean.
We, and I in particular, are used to dealing with Trill, both joined and unjoined. You are in safe and familiar hands. So, may I ask, what is your station going to be? Are you going to be serving on a vessel or here on Deep Space Nine?
The Europa, in fact. She's coming to pick me up.
Then we will be shipmates.
Oh, you two? Oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Yesbeth Jerica.
I am Mar.
Nice to meet you. So I heard some other people were getting picked up. It's nice to meet you. Have you been on the ship yet? Is it big? I was really hoping I wouldn't get transferred to one of those big Galaxy classes, because those seem like they'd be hard to get around.
Ensign, I believe it is standard to review one's briefing packet before going aboard. I would suggest that you do that.
Look, I read all about the sensors, but they don't say anything about the hallways, is the thing.
Do you prefer to avoid confined spaces?
I prefer to avoid long walks.
I see. Then you will rest assured, and you may be doing quite a bit of rest. It is a smaller vessel.
Oh, that's good. Have you looked at the specs of those new Luna classes? They've got some excellent sensors. I'm very excited to getting in there and messing around with them.
The technology across the ship seems quite intriguing.
Yeah. Is this your first? I take from how you've been talking, it sounds like this isn't your first rodeo.
No, I served through much of the Dominion War along with our future first officer, Commander Ambrose.
Oh, wait. The first officer is here.
He is. Not in the medical bay, as you may have gathered.
No, I got that. I didn't know he was on the station. I probably should have said something. Should I have gone and said hi?
You have not reported aboard yet, Ensign. There is no need to do so.
Okay, good, because I want to make a good first impression, and I don't want to look like I'm avoiding him.
It is a large station, and Commander Ambrose is rather busy at the moment. There will be no issue with you not greeting him prior to boarding the ship.
Okay, phew. Oh, sorry if I'm a mess. I've never been off world before. This is my first time off Trill.
You have certainly been exposed to an interesting environment here on Deep Space Nine. It will likely be calmer aboard the Europa.
That's a relief.
At which point
Oh, it's nice.
At which point in the hallway you can hear what sounds like a huge ruckus. There is a lot of commotion coming from the corridor in the promenade area.
Oh no. I think Yesbeth, against her better judgment, is going to go check it out.
Mara's already out the door, and they were about to turn and say, "Just stay here, Ensign." But if she's coming, she's coming.
She's coming.
She outranks you anyway. When you get out into the corridor, there is a large gathering of individuals, mostly Bajoran. They're protesting. They're clearly protesting as they're chanting that they want Starfleet gone. It's in Bajoran, so it doesn't rhyme real well because I didn't write it down. Somebody.
Mar will calm Ambrose immediately.
Okay. Go ahead. So Ambrose is on comm then.
Commander, Dr. Mar, there is a protest on the promenade. It seems peaceful, but it is rather loud. It may be worth attending to.
I was actually coming to see you to discuss our business. I'll be right there. And I will make my way there.
Yesbeth is going to go up to one of the protesters and say, "Hey, what's all this? Why do you want the Federation gone?"
The protester grabs you by the shoulders and kind of firmly shakes you a little bit. And,
Oh, geez, come on.
And Mar is right there in their face.
Right. This is the Avatar of Peace, Valhalla, and then kind of pushes her back, but Mar catches Isabeth quickly.
Avatar of Peace, my spots.
The behind the give me a anybody on the promenade, which includes Ambrose if you want to get there, and if Fiona is in the immediate area, that would also be okay. Anybody that wants to or anyone that wants to can be involved in the role, but one person's going to make the role. Give me an insight and security roll. Whoever wants to do that, and one person can assist if they want.
I'll assist. I have a pretty good insight.
Sure.
Mar is not great at either of those things.
Nope. I got a pretty good security, but my insight is kind of crap.
Insight and security, and combined, that's a 14 for me.
So
I could
probably
do
the
that.
best.
Yeah.
Let's.
Okay.
Go ahead. I was going to say let's have the commander make the the primary role, and Elizabeth can make the secondary role.
Yeah. Okay. What is the difficulty and complication range?
Difficulty is 2, complication range is standard, so 20.
Okay. And remind me how assisting works in
So
this?
the way an assist will work is your person assisting you will roll a single die using their stats, and then if you succeed, then they succeed, then their success applies to yours. If you fail and they succeed, it's still a failure because their success doesn't apply. So their assist only helps if you succeed. So
Well,
Okay.
I assisted for one, so.
okay.
Let me ask.
You do have 1 momentum.
Okay. Well, I do also have the talent Bold Security, in which I can purchase an extra D20 with threat.
Sure.
So I think I would like to do that because I always enjoy giving threat.
Sure.
So I will be particularly bold about this. I assume it hasn't been too terribly long since the second minister left this area. So I would sort of be rushing down to this area, see all of this, and basically just start pushing my way through the crowd, kind of getting a lay of the land. So I'll give you that threat, and I will roll 3d20.
Okay. So you just, where it says the roll d20s. Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then I press this blue button.
Yep. And there you go. So you have a skill of 14, a focus of 1, and a success of 2, which is plenty. You will gain a momentum for that, or you can use it on this action if you want. But what you see is behind the Bajoran that pushed the Starfleet officer a moment ago.
Did we get the assist roll first?
You got the assist as well. Sorry, the assist was a 1, right?
Yeah, I succeeded by 1.
Didn't see that on our side. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's I gotta figure out how to make that work so you guys can roll for your secondary characters too.
So that's 2 momentum.
So you have 2 momentum.
Cool.
I will put
By
that
the way,
here.
I just checked the rulebook. It's as long as he gets 1 success, the assist works. So
Yes,
he doesn't
sorry.
have to use it himself.
Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you get 0 successes, the assist doesn't help. So,
Right.
oh, good lord, what on earth is that? You guys don't hear that?
We apparently have a viewer.
We need to play it cool.
Oh,
So hello, viewer.
that is a sound I'm going to have to turn way down because that was very distracting. Hello, Daniel Boone. I gotcha. All right.
Yeah, you were the only one to hear that because
Oh yeah, it was
I heard nothing.
very distracting. I'm gonna have to turn that way down. It scared the crap out of me. All right, so you have that is 3 successes. So you have 2 momentum. What you see is behind the Bajoran that pushed the ensign that's down below you. I'm assuming you're on the catwalk area. The Bajoran behind them is pulling out a phaser for certain. Hard to say where it's going to be aimed at, but they are definitely pulling out a phaser.
so I'm on the catwalk, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So particularly because I use the talent bold, I'm going to be extra bold on this. If somebody pulls a phaser, I'm jumping off the catwalk onto that person.
Okay.
Especially seeing that somebody pushed a Starfleet ensign, I am like full on warping my way over the railing of that. Yeah.
Parkour. All right. So that I don't know what it would normally be, but we're gonna say that's daring and security.
All right. It's what I do.
I would also think hand-to-hand combat would work for that.
Okay, so that's a focus. Cool. Difficulty complication.
Difficulty is going to be 3, and I'm going to actually spend a threat to make it 4, so you don't fall and break your foot.
Right.
But because it's coming from the elevated platform, and I think normal hand-to-hand difficulty is 2. It's 1. So I'll spend 2 threat to make it 3. So yeah, coming from height and everything else, that's +1. Yeah, so we'll say it's difficulty of 4 in total. 1 for the hand-to-hand, 1 for the height, and 2 for the threat that I spent.
Okay. And if I roll underneath, by using a focus, if I roll underneath my discipline, it counts as 2, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So I think because difficulty is 4, I should probably spend a momentum on this.
Sure.
All right. So I'll spend the momentum there.
Okay.
And we'll see if I break my legs doing this.
You do have to manually change that number, unfortunately. In the new version, I suspect that will do it automatically, but in this version, it does not.
Come on, big money.
4 successes. Look at that.
Nice.
Just barely.
Just barely is just enough. So a lot of you are watching Elizabeth. You get pushed back a little bit, and suddenly the flying red-headed commander is leaping from the overhead catwalk onto what you are only just as he's coming down. You see a phaser blast go off past the commander and hits harmlessly off of something that probably shouldn't be shot in space. But the commander crumples the man to the ground, and security is beginning to rush in, but you can all act if you wish to. Whoever wishes to act next, because the victim in this case, which would be the NPC who could go, their act was to fire and miss, because that was awesome. So if someone else would like to act, you can.
Mar is definitely going to just maneuver the ensign completely out of the area of combat trouble stuff.
Okay.
Mills will be running down the platform toward the hubbub.
Okay. As you guys are doing that, one of the Bajorans grabs the commander by the back of the shoulders and tries to lift him off, but 14 and a 6 grabs the commander Ambrose by his shoulders and goes to pull him off, but Ambrose shrugs his shoulder and pushes him off, and the guy is tackled by one of the other station security officers who are now intervening. Ambrose, you can act again if you wish.
Okay. So painting the mental picture, we're near the center of this whole commotion, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of angry protesters around.
There are a bunch of angry protesters. You're kind of on one of the edges of it, but it doesn't take long to get surrounded by them. Security for station security is getting involved. They're breaking things up fairly quickly. Even Bajoran security is getting involved. But there is still a lot of commotion happening at the moment, and more than one phaser has been discharged in the passing moment.
Okay, there's more than one phaser. Can I realize just in quick glance, are these normal Bajoran phasers or are they Starfleet phasers?
They're Bajoran phasers.
Okay.
And a couple of Cardassian phasers, but mostly Bajoran phasers.
Okay. Because apparently you can tell by the sound and the color, were they set on stun?
Not all of them were, but most were.
Okay. Yeah. So this is my area. So my top priority is getting this phaser off of this guy and shooting whoever is not using stun settings.
Okay. So because this is a slightly different version of the rules than we would normally use, I want to make sure we go over this. We're going to do a grappling contest.
Okay.
So the way it basically works is in order to grapple, hold, tackle, or otherwise restrain a foe, or in this case disarm them, you will roll fitness and security, and you must get more successes than your opponent, so this becomes a contested action. I am going to roll 2 dice.
Does my hand-to-hand focus come in again?
It does. So your difficulty to beat is going to be 1, which is not great for them. The complication range, I'm going to spend a threat and raise the complication range by 1, because you're trying to wrestle a phaser out of their hand. You could get shot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Would there have been enough time for Mar to get back in the fight and assist?
On your action, you'll be able to do something, yes, because it's only one. It's only 1 movement range. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna roll and see how this goes.
Sure. 2 successes. So you succeed by 1. You can choose to damage the opponent. In this case, you probably weren't going to damage him. You were trying to take the phaser.
Mm-hmm.
You hold him in place or grapple the combatant. If the grapple combatant wins, they would escape. They did not. So you managed to wrest the phaser from their hands, and with that extra momentum, you can do. I don't think I gave you guys the sheet that I normally use, and I don't have it up for me either, but. I will make sure to get that to you, but I have a sheet that has it's a combat sheet that has ways of talking about what additional things you can do. I'm getting so many messages now. Oh, that was okay. But if you want to spend that additional momentum, there are things you can do with that, or you can just save it.
I have a cheat sheet handy so I could read them off if you go over the rules.
Yeah, if you'd like to go over them real quick, yeah, that's fine.
Additional damage, disarm, keep the initiative, but we're not in initiative. Reroll, avoid an injury, or do a second task at +1 difficulty.
So disarm was one of those, so we'll just use it for that, I guess, because that would apply.
All right. Okay.
And I got my sheet open now, so now I can look next time it's necessary.
Okay. So if I'm using the momentum to disarm, what was the standard effect of that roll?
You would have held them. You've basically kept them pinned to the ground as well.
Okay. So I have them pinned. I have them dealt with, and
Correct.
I took his weapon. Okay.
Correct.
Would you call this the first round of any combat?
I would have counted you jumping off the thing as the first round of combat. Do you have
Okay. I do love quick to action,
Okay.
but I just didn't know where we were initiative wise.
Right.
But if we're past it, we're past it. That's fine too.
I have no problem with us using it because we sped through the first round in mostly narrative. So that requires no spent momentum in order to maintain momentum, in order to maintain initiative, correct? Is that the
Yeah,
one
correct. It's just simply during the first round of any combat, you and your allies may ignore the normal cost to retain the initiative.
Right. I will go ahead and allow it this time. This is a one-time thing, but go ahead and do it. So if anyone else would like to go, the maintaining initiative means that anyone on your team can go before the enemy does. So if Mar would like to go now, or if...
Yeah. Does Mars see anybody else within range with a weapon?
Yes. There is another Bajoran who is leveling a phaser at one of the Starfleet security individuals who is wrestling with another Bajoran.
Okay. Mars definitely going to melee attack.
Okay. So, melee attacks. Again, this is a slightly different version of the rules. The hand-to-hand combat, the attacker would roll... hang on. I want to make sure that it's... Because that didn't change. So I want to make sure that I'm doing the right roll there.
Daring security opposed?
Daring security opposed, correct.
Okay. Saying that, I just dropped their daring security. It is 12. Okay.
All right.
And they have a focus in small group tactics and have worked with the commander before.
Sure. I'd take that.
Okay.
And your difficulty is going to be 1 because they only rolled a 1. And their difficulty be technically higher because they're not facing. So
16 and a 1.
So you have, I assume the 16 does not succeed,
16 does not succeed.
but the 1 is counted as 2.
Yeah.
So you have beaten them. You have succeeded. You have meleeed with them, and you have gained an additional momentum to do so. What would you like to do? You can, first of all, you can roll damage if you like, which is harder to do in this version. But,
So that's 5d6.
right. If you drop the dice on the where all the text chat stuff is going on, it should roll them and show them.
Ah, okay.
Yes, just like that.
There we go. Awesome.
So a 1 is worth 1, a 5 is worth 1, a 2 is worth 2, so you're at 4, 5, 6, 7. Holy crap. And that's 2 effects. So you could knock them down because that's the only thing I think that hand-to-hand does.
Yeah.
But it doesn't much matter because 7 is going to pretty much knock them unconscious.
Yeah. Mars used to dealing with Cardassians. Mar does not fuck around.
The sheet that Evelyn just posted in the Europa chat on Discord, that is the sheet that I use.
Okay.
So anybody that wants to have
I'll
that.
put this in the resources section of the Europa
Ooh, that's nice.
page, so it doesn't get lost in the chat too.
Right.
Awesome.
I mean, that's a good one. All right, so you have knocked the poor combatant to the ground. You've knocked them unconscious because you've done 7 damage, and they don't have any way to stop that. You do still have 1 momentum in case you want to do something else with it. Not much I think you can do with 1, so you might want to save it.
Yeah, just save it.
Okay. That is 2 turns. Now it is one of their turns. The one who is wrestling with the commander is going to try to shove you off and possibly wrest the phaser back away from you. I'm probably not going to succeed in that, but they're going to try. And I'm actually going to spend 1 threat to see if they can spend an extra die. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll fitness and security. Your hand-to-hand does apply. And the complication range is the same. So.
Okay. 1 success. Not great.
Well, they also only got 1 success. So they go to push you off of them, and they what they manage to do is they can't wrest the phaser from you. He goes to grab for it, but instead she kind of shifts and begins to shimmy out from underneath you, but doesn't get very far. You still have the phaser in your hand, and you're still in basically control, but the person is no longer pinned beneath you. Back to the party side of things, and
I had a thing.
Yes.
I would like to, after I've been ushered away, I'm going to ignore the idea of staying into cover, and I'm going to rush over to one of the security terminals and try and activate the station security force fields.
Okay. You're trying to keep more people from getting involved in this, or you thinking?
Yeah, try to keep the crowds, break the crowd apart,
right.
So that way it's not one big mass of people.
Right.
Yeah. Control plus engineering.
Yeah, I'll take that. There you go.
Oh, I
just
see.
like that.
Oh boy.
Okay. What to do with that? So the force fields do go up. But in the process, apparently you weren't entirely certain where the emitters picked up. And so you are hit with one of the emitters directly on you. Let's say we're going to say 4 damage for that. Let's see, 4, 2, 3, 4 damage. So actually take 4 stress. Just to mark it however you want to mark it, doesn't matter. But you're still conscious. You are badly burned. I'm going to add a complication to yourself of your hands being burned. And so you can't, anything you want to do with them going forward, anything you want to do that's requires fine manual dexterity is going to be a difficulty higher.
Mechanically speaking, why am I taking a complication? Because I didn't take an injury.
That's true. I was using 1 to do the damage and the other, because you rolled 2 20s there.
To introduce the complication. Okay.
Introduce the complication.
All right. Yep. Makes sense now.
So that is 2. Yeah, that's my 2, the complication and the complication from taking the damage of the complication from bringing up the security field. The other complication is the additional thing. Fairly easy to solve, and you can use what I think momentum overcomes those. I have to remember how those will be overcome, but yes. Whatever ways is normal to overcome a complication in a scene. It's a scene complication for you.
I need medical help, I believe, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to read how that works again. Experimenting, trying it out.
I'll double check it while you're doing your thing.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so with that, we go back to the NPCs, which they're not going to target the players in this turn. They're going to just kind of fight amongst the security staff and whatnot, which would give Mills a chance to act if she wants to.
Okay. So I will engage, having seen that there are phasers in play. If there's one with a phaser nearest to me, I would try to engage that one and get the phaser away or get them incapacitated.
Okay. And your difficulty is essentially going to be 0. You have one success. The 19 does not count as a complication.
Oh, good.
Because the range is only 20.
Fantastic.
So you have 1 success, which means you do succeed, and it counts as momentum because their difficulty was 0 because I failed both my rolls, which means you can manage to spend that if you wanted to disarm them.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So you are now phasered, and the commander is now phasery. And yes, Mar has knocked someone unconscious, and the ensign has suffered some temporary burns.
Yeah, would you say that's non-lethal since
yeah, totally non-lethal.
Non-lethal security system?
Yep, non-lethal.
All right. It affects me until the end of the scene at least.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Or until some way you can overcome the complication using whatever means you can overcome complications normally.
I can spend a determination, but I don't have a determination, so.
Right. Actually, well, no, you're right. You're right. You don't because you're a secondary character currently.
Yep.
Mar just looks over their shoulder and blinks once, which for anybody else would be like throwing up their hands and swearing.
With the force fields up, though, the crowd is beginning to settle down a little bit. Commander, you do still have an action if you want. Not everyone has settled down, and there are still some who have phasers. What you see now, as the scene has progressed, is that no one with a phaser on lethal has managed to shoot anyone. Mostly they've missed or been taken down by other security or your team. But there are some who are still up who have fired with lethal and have not hit anyone. So.
Yeah, that's definitely my priority. Getting any of the actually live dangerous weapons out of the picture.
Right. I will. Okay. I will, because you're firing into a crowd. I will spend a threat to increase difficulty by 1, so difficulty will be 3. I'm going to up the complication range by 1 instead. So your complication range is now 1920. Difficulty is 2.
Difficulty 2. Do you think composure would help in this situation? Keeping a cool head during a riot? Or team dynamics, working alongside the security teams to prioritize best targets? I
think team dynamics fits better. Mm-hmm. Composure wouldn't necessarily be bad, but I think team dynamics fits better.
Sure. Okay. And okay, let me see. That is 15. That's pretty good. Yeah, let's see how it works out. I'm not going to go too heavy first game on giving you all kinds of threat.
4 and a complication.
Okay.
So you have 2 successes. That hits. I will debate the complication for a second. Sure. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. Remind me how I do that.
In this case, because you can actually use your main character if you'd like. It is the phaser type, which in this case is 3 damage plus your security. And on your sheet, you can actually just change where it says 8 to whatever the appropriate number is, and then double click that 8 where it says phaser type 2.
Okay. Yeah, 3 damage plus my security, which is 5 for 8. So I would just click this.
Yep, just double click that. And it is 5 damage and 2 effects, which will stun the 1, and you can use the 2 effects if you wish. I'm not sure what Bajor and phasers are, so we're just going to assume they work just like Federation ones, I assume, for now.
I don't think they're as powerful or as versatile, but on stun setting, they do the same thing.
Right. So you manage to stun him, and he goes down. You have no additional momentum. I'm going to say that I'm just going to keep that complication as a threat, so because I got nothing. However, with that phaser going off, it appears that things are now resigning to control. The chief of security for the station has stepped in, and everyone is now kind of being arrested or taken into custody, or otherwise they're incapacitated. So the combat has ended, unless someone else has something they really, really want to do, like smash someone else's face. I'm okay with that.
Could I or anyone else get any read on if there was a clear leader to this, or if things just boiled over and it was a riot?
That's a good question.
Yesbeth has a little information about that.
Right.
Okay. We'll say that right off, because of the situation, jumping off the building, jumping off the tower and everything else, you didn't really get a good enough read.
Right.
So, but Isabeth is, Yezabeth, sorry, is over clutching her hands a little bit, and security is wrapping things up if you guys wish to have additional conversations on that front.
Once Mar has seen that all the weapons are out of play, they'll head over and treat Yesbeth because they definitely picked up on that.
I forgot to disable the tampering protection programs. Oh, God, that's so stupid.
You will not make that error again, Ensign. And your instincts were sound. Allow me. And they'll treat your hands.
Okay.
You ran to the fight. That is to be commended.
Well, I don't know. It was still stupid of me to screw up. Look, just don't do me a favor. Don't tell the XO what happened, okay?
You were injured in the line of duty.
Yeah, I injured myself. That's not noble.
That falls under doctor-patient confidentiality, Ensign. You were injured in the line of duty, which I will mention. And I do believe the commander will look favorably upon that.
Thanks, Mar.
Anytime. You will learn.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to do real quick? It is 9:30, so I have spoiled my ability to do the cliffhanger I wanted to do earlier because there's no way I'm going to get to it.
I do want to make sure that the individual who pushed Yesbeth is taken into custody.
Yes, absolutely is taken into custody. Yep, he's wandered off and is wandered off. He's wandered off with being escorted by a security team.
I was going to say he's not wandering very far.
He wanders off and I shoot him. No, he is. It is clearing up in there, and obviously the chief of security will want statements between sessions. But if you guys have anything else you want to do amongst the party here, or contacting the captain or anything else you guys want to do, any final episode scenes before we go into a two-parter?
I would definitely tap on my comm badge and probably not call the ministers, but call the head of security. And I don't think I got his name earlier, but just check in and request that somebody get eyes on the two ministers.
Gotcha.
Immediately.
It doesn't take long before you hear back from the Bajoran security teams that that are assigned to them from the planet Bajor, that both Shakaar and the second minister are accounted for and currently unharmed.
Okay. Are there Starfleet security officers that can confirm that?
There are, yes.
Okay.
I would like a small scene with Ambrose.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, this isn't how I wanted to meet the XO. But I'm Yesbeth. I'm your new I'm your new comms tech, or your new sensor tech.
Good to meet you, Ensign.
She's still clutching her hands. Listen, you should know that before I ran away, one of them spoke about an avatar of peace. I don't know. I think that might be somebody they're answering to.
An avatar of peace at an armed riot. It's an interesting duality.
Look, I didn't say he was very good at. I don't know. Listen. Sorry I screwed up with the security measures, but never mind. Forget I said that.
And Mars like, I am a disciple of Kolinar. I do not faceplant. Facepalm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's anything I can do to help. I'm let me know.
How long have you been here on DS9?
Well, counting today. Today.
Right. Well, for your lack of familiarity with the station, you acted in good conscience. Good work. I guess just keep your sensors open.
That seems like a good place to wrap up the scene.
Yep. I had hoped I would be able to get this to a place where I could do a better cliffhanger, but first time jitters, I guess.